Humans, we're everywhere you can imagine. Whether it comes to hectic cities or deserted ghost towns, humans have touched every single place on Earth, right? Wrong! Although humans have been known to be very intrusive, there's places where humans never touched, which is just incredible to think about. Numerous environments are too dangerous to visit for humankind, and it reveals that Mother Nature has left some places on Earth intact from utter destruction. Before we dive into places that no human has ever set foot on Earth, make sure you click subscribe icon and the notification bell to always be informed so you don't miss out. Number 10. The Star Mountains of Papua New Guinea. The vast mountainous region in Papua New Guinea extends through a large portion of the remote Indonesian state and has yet to see any adequate human discovery. It's now thought to be one of the world's moist locations with more than 10,000 millimeters of annual precipitation per year. The rainfall is so gusty that in this mountain range there is no clear location where there is a weather station. In 1959, Jan Sneap, a Dutch colonial representative, actually attempted to explore the area and map it, which is something that has never been done before. Even with 2 helicopters after 1 aircraft crashed, the exploration still depended on manpower entirely. Stay tuned to hear about the dry and dangerous Namibia Desert. Number 9. North Sentinel Island, Bay of Bengal. This unique island is situated in the Bay of Bengal between both the southwest coast of India and Thailand, making it extremely inaccessible. Its natives, the Sentinel people, are the only human beings that have ever existed on the island and have long declined to welcome modern visitors. Anyone who comes to the island to attempt to discover or research the area is automatically refused, frequently and often violently. In 2006, 2 fishermen discovered themselves floating into the island after their anchor had broke loose from their vessel, and when they reached the shore, they were both killed as soon as the Sentinel people saw them closing in on the shore of the island. As a result, the region is entirely disconnected and utterly unexplored with the rest of the developed world, and anyone who ponders the idea of traveling to the island can only be signing their own untimely death warrant. Number 8. Namibia Desert, Namibia. This desert, which stretches for more than 1,200 kilometers along the Atlantic coastal lines of Angola, Namibia, and South Africa, is one of the driest regions throughout the whole world. In certain areas, this desert rarely gets 2 millimeters of water across the year. This guarantees it will practically survive, and the only living organisms that exist would do so for the minimal available water. Along the coasts, the desert mainly comprises hundreds of miles of vast, dusty seas, and this is an opposite situation than in Saka, where we'll talk about in the next few clips. Any living thing abandoned or lost in the immediate environment will never survive without evacuation. In less arid regions, the reproduction of the native population is achieved, but mainly invertebrates such as scorpions and other tiny animals that are capable of surviving almost without any water can only live in Namib. Number 7. Singhi de Balmaraha National Park, Madagascar. This national park is situated on the very west side of Madagascar, an island off South Africa centered around 2 main geological fingers. Geological features: Great Singhi and Little Singhi. Such rock formations are plateaus with steep slopes carved in by groundwater so that they could not be traveled or passed through. The phrases Singhi also mean where you can't walk barefoot when interpreted, rendering this an extremely unique place in the world with a great name. Given the vast region in which these communities lie, the park has become unfathomable precisely because the jagged plateaus cannot be crossed. Stay tuned to hear about the beautiful Yucatan Sea Notes. Number 6. Sakha Republic, Russia. This region is the 8th most vast region in the world, and most is above the Arctic Pole, leaving it practically a freezing cold desert. That's why this is different from the Namib Desert from the one we talked before. This is the largest region in Russia. Sakha Republic is just marginally smaller than the whole of India, with an area of 1,190,555 square miles. Even so, the distinction is that the climate is so harsh that less than 1 million people inhabit the entire area. If the humans who lived in this extraordinarily barren region of the world were scattered equally across the area, each person would be over a whole mile away. During the winter, the average temperature in this region is around minus 46 degrees Fahrenheit, and it is the birthplace of the Northern Hemisphere's Verkhoyansk Range. In spite of the severe weather, cold and freezing, many people have been unexplored and unaffected by this gigantic place on Earth. Number 5. Valdomir Brazil. In the past decades, the world has witnessed fewer and fewer individuals who have had no contact with any technology that has been created in this modern day. But 14 distinct communities of the native community of Valdomir still stay out of contact with current technologies and civilization. The government of Brazil has banned the entry of Brazilian people with more than 3,000 individual indigenous peoples from 14 separate tribes to protect their indigenous people and customs. This area of 32,990 square meters is greater than the whole of Austria and is suitable for a largely unexplored and undetected world separated from modernization, and these people are protected by the Brazilian government through policies so that the tribe inside the Amazon forest are prevented from the modernized people. Number 4. Yucatan Sea Notes, Mexico. The Yucatan Peninsula is littered with natural pits and sinkholes called cenotes in southern Mexico and directly in the north of Belize. These lumps are created as the rock under the earth starts to disintegrate and to break down, leaving wide cracks and troughs in the ground, revealing the underground water. The rock which falls into the water allows the remaining rock to further melt, which causes the region in the form of huge natural pits to begin to expand, and is even believed that there's lots of dinosaur fossils and a colossal meteorite crater in the site. Although there's lots of travelers interested in going into this place, exploring these gaps is much more risky than paying to know more about them, particularly when it is still difficult to locate entries inside them, let alone enter them. These groves pose serious danger to both animals and explorers, considering their natural beauty. Stay tuned to hear about the mysterious Mariana Trench. Number 3. Karbunsum, Bhutan. The Karbunsum giant snowy peak rises 24,836 feet up in the air at the edge of Bhutan in China, making this one of the world's tallest peak that mankind hasn't scaled. From 1922 on, this enormous mountain was never adequately documented until the last few years, and even the first team was unable to construct it to measure its height. Around 1985 and 1986, 4 teams targeted the mountain, but due to the dangerous conditions, all but 4 struggled. And in 1994, out of reverence for local cultural values, it was entirely forbidden to go up above 19,685 feet. The scaling on the mountain was completely forbidden in 2003 given the latest high climb ban. To this day, the true geography of the mountains remains controversial, for very few people have actually been able to scale the whole huge range, let alone map. Make sure you stay till the end for more unexpected places. Number 2. Mariana Trench, Pacific Ocean. The darkest and deepest portion of the world's oceans is the Mariana Trench on the west side of the Pacific Ocean, just east of the Philippines. This huge crowded scar in the Earth's crust is 1,500 kilometers long and enters an area known as Challenger Deep at a depth of 36,000 feet. This trench is so deep that the whole of Mount Everest will still be 1 mile from the surface even if you lowered it. The only species able to withstand the strain of the water to this depth is known as xenophyophores that exist on mineral elements as single-cell organisms. Perhaps one of the world's most elusive sites, the Mariana Trench is a product of which we will never know how far it really goes or whether any unknown creatures have made it their permanent habitat, which is absolutely crazy to think that anything could survive in an environment as unique as the Marianas. Number 1. Kamchatka, Russia. This place has been a secret to Russia for quite a very long time, and since Russia has one of the biggest and coldest regions on the planet, it is only appropriate that some of the greatest volcanic activity on the Earth can be detected there. In the Kamchatka Peninsula, 160 separate volcanoes are present in the vast belt, 29 of them still active at the moment, the highest of which is the 15,584-foot high Klyuchevsky Sopk. A region with so much volcanic activity is certainly not suitable for discovery, and the Russian government has successfully prevented any modernized people through all the hassle, paperwork, and expensive. In addition to that, it's even more challenging because so much of this area has been made up of thousands of years of volcanic rock, so it's not that easy for scientists and other researchers to be able to travel into this region. All 10 of these amazing locations in the world recall that the planet has been around since before the creation of humanity, and certain areas simply remain unchanged. Beautiful and particular sights such as these should remain in the natural states unchanged by human life, otherwise our home will be much dull place to live without incredible natural wonders. We hope you enjoyed watching this episode as much as we enjoyed working on it. Stay tuned until the next video and make sure you subscribe as it helps us continue providing content.